Hello, everyone. Welcome to our official YouTube channel of Grabguidance. Let me take honor to first of all welcome our audience who has specially taken out time this afternoon and attended this session by Dr. Anup Raj. So thank you so much, guys, for joining in, and I hope you guys would be looking forward to a most valuable session by Dr. Anup Raj. So this channel is basically hosted by Grab Guidance. So Grab Guidance is basically a portal wherein the whole philosophy is to actually connect two people, wherein one is a learner and another is an expert. So you can simply go on to www.grabguidance.com, and in a very most convenient way, you can always find a good guide, a mentor, a teacher, and anyone with whom you want to get connected on a virtual basis, one on one. So, guys, it's a platform wherein you just go put in your, a course or a class, add your interest area, and you will find hundreds of people who can, help you from a very short query to even completing your course. So it's completely online, completely virtual. You get interacted with a lot of good minds in our country, and just get the query solved, course completed in just couple of sessions, and anything which is possible through offline mode is now really possible through an online mode on Grab Guidance. So this Grab Guidance, we came up with a a brand, you can call it as, wherein we have started with a GG online class. So this class is basically for our online student community, to give them a free webinar, some guidance through the experts like Dr. Anup. And today also we're gonna do the very same thing. And today we are privileged to have Dr. Anup, and he'll be taking a session on peripheral career interest vis-a-vis the real career interest. So definitely, I think it's very intriguing topic, and Dr. Anup will definitely share thoughts as to what this topic is all about, and he will definitely guide us through through his presentation in the next 1 hour. So before we proceed, I'll again take 1 or 2 minutes to just introduce Dr. Anup Raj, because I am myself is so impressed by his credentials and his experience. So let me just introduce formally as well. So Dr. Anup Raj has been actually an active financial market participant. He's an academician, he's a trader, he's a research analyst trainer, a motivational speaker, writer, and has been guest faculty with a lot of these schools. And he has worked with a lot of known companies like Mansukh Securities and Finance, CMI, Bonanza Portfolio. I think I can just name few, but I think he has worked with almost all financial market organizations and good B schools in Delhi NCR region. He actually carries a experience of 15 years plus, and he has been handling team of commodity and equity research analysts, and engaged with a lot of senior policymakers and academicians in companies, academic institutes. So he's actually a doctorate in the area of commerce, and he has a management degree in finance and marketing. He has a degree in economics, and he has a MBA in international business as well, along with one more postgraduate diploma in portfolio management. So I think it will take a lot of time for him to officially introduce as well. But just to cut short, I'll just add one more point here, that he's a active, quant trader and an algorithmic trading, strategist. So that's where he has a deep knowledge of trading in the financial markets and the capital markets. And now I think I can just hand over to Dr. Anup now. I've taken a lot of time, and I think Dr. Anup can take it forward from here and apprise our audience and guide them through his own way. Thank you so much, sir. So please, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Himanshu Puri, for such a over-motivated introduction. And again, I thank to the Grab Guidance also for inviting me to share my views on such a, basically this topic, it's the need of the hour, especially in such a pandemic situation. So thanks a lot. Thanks to the Grab Guidance. Thanks to Himanshu Puri. Thanks to all your team who have been helping you out. And we should be thanking to the participants also who have just his time to join and to listen over this topic. So this topic, I think, peripheral interest versus the real career interest, I think it's a need of the hour, and it is the most sought after topic in some way or another way, because what I have been experiencing throughout my career, and still I'm experiencing, that majority of the youth of our country, they do not know that what is their real career interest and which direction they have to move. So first we need to understand that which direction we need to move, and why do we need to find out the real career interest. Because unless and until you are finding the real career interest and you keep on moving on a peripheral, you just sometimes you reach nowhere. So at least you need to have a direction either into the rectangular shape or into the square shape. So direction is important, but this is the problem with the peripheral of the circle, that if you keep on moving on the circle, it is very difficult to reach at a particular destination. So again, you reach at the place where you begin. That is the problem with the peripheral career interest. And this is the problem that I think in 90% youth they have been facing. And the more, if you find out your real career interest at the early stage of your life, it would be very easy for you to take it forward, and it would just smoothen your life like anything. So that's the intention. And this topic has been very close to me, because though I have been a financial market participant, but being inclined towards academic also, I have been interacting with the students right from PG to PhD, KG, you can call it KG to PG to PhD, right? So this is the topic that should be of interest not only to the students. This topic should be of interest to the parents of the students also, because it becomes very difficult for a student who is into the nursery in the KG and class 1, class 2. It is not possible for them to get into this kind of understanding. So it becomes the responsibility and duty of the parents to find out their real career interest, and do not let their child or do not let their kid to keep on hopping from one career interest to the another career interest. So this is how just this topic has been, this is the attraction of this topic. So actually, Himanshu, in fact, if you can ask to me that, Anup Raj, when did you find out your real career interest, right?
Okay.
So I am surprised that I couldn't find my own career interest when I was in postgraduate, right? I completed my postgraduate. I didn't know basically what I am doing this postgraduate for. What is the objective of doing this post-graduation, right? So, and I think in the people like me, there are many people, there are many students, there are even the adults, right? Those who have, there are people who have retired, but they, if you go and say that, was it your real career interest you pursued? They say, no, just because I got the job, I did it, right? So,
Okay.
unless and until you have the real career interest, you cannot bring out your whole complete productivity, right? And if you are not letting out your whole all potentiality, it is not just only the loss of an individual, it is a national loss. You can call it as a national loss, because everybody is full of potential. Everybody can just contribute like anything. Everybody can give significant contribution into the nation building, but one is not in a position to give the significant contribution, because throughout of his life he is into the, not into dilemma, I call it as a multi-lemma. People are into multi-lemma, that what to do, what not to do, right? So they keep on searching what I am here for, what I am here for, what I am here for, right? And if you look, the guy who had found out their career interest at the very earliest stage, they have performed like anything, and they have contributed for their country, for their nation, for the whole world.
Absolutely.
So that's why this topic is so important. So just I want to share a few story, right? Of the few students. There are a student in our country, right? Majority of our students, they keep on preparing for their government job, right? Especially in northern India, right? So what happens? They keep on preparing. The moment they complete their graduation, the moment they complete their post graduation, right? And I have just made with a student, they keep on preparing for the government till the age of 30, 32, 35, even 40, up to 40 years, right? So look, the kind of loss that our country is having, right? Was it like that, that a student was not capable to get a job at the age of 21? Or he was running after a job which was not his cup of tea? Why has he lost his time, so precious time? Because at the age of 18, at the age of 20, at the age of 21, your energy level is so high, right? And if you are not in a position to channelize your energy level into the right direction, you'll lose the momentum. And again, once you lose the momentum, again you restart, again you just gain the momentum, and it takes a lot of time, and I think it reaches nowhere. That's the problem. So that is why this topic of finding out the real career interest versus the peripheral career interest had become very important by everyone. It should not only be found by the students, it should be found by the parents also, and it should be found by the professional, businessman, everybody. Am I into the business which is really interesting to me, or am I not into the business which is not interesting to me? Because in India, Himanshu, I hope that you would agree with this statement. There are majority of, because you know that you have tested the water of the startup, right? So you know that majority of the startup, they fails at the early stage. Why do those
Absolutely right.
startups, right? Because it
Absolutely
is
right,
not,
sir.
yeah, those is what I have also worked with few startups. I have understood, even I also have my own startup. I have understood that those startups do not get failed because of the fund or any other problem, or because of the talent management. All those startups, they fails because there was a problem with their idea. They could not assess the worth of the idea, right? And in fact, the guy who was trying to start up ultimately found, oh my God, this was not my cup of tea. Just this idea came and I started it, right? So I have made with so many guys. They started their startup, they just put their hard-earned money, they put their all effort and everything, but ultimately that failed and within just 2 to 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, right? Why does it happen? It happens because the later, 2 years down the line or 6 months down the line, they realize it was not my cup of tea, and just I came it. So they could not understood its nitty gritty, right? So I suggest everybody that try to find out your real career interest than the peripheral interest, right? uh, Basically what happens that especially nowadays, what is happening, I talk to a lot of guys, it's my habit, right? Especially I just, even I know to the guy or I do not know to the guy, right? I'm in habit of talking to the unknown youth guy, right? If I find, even if whenever I'm traveling, if I get a guy who is sitting adjacent to me, I start talking, right? I initiate the talk. So I just ask that, what do you do? One guy said that I'm doing BTech. I said, "Why are you doing BTech?" He said, "Just I'm doing BTech because I wanted to get into the IITs. I couldn't get, so now just I got into second engineering school." And so just then my next question is, what is your specialization? He said that I'm just doing this into the computer science, right? But when you talk to the guy, right, actually he's not interested in the computer science. I came to know that basically he wanted to do the preparation for the IAS. He wanted to do the, basically he wanted to become an IAS. He wanted to be a civil servant, right? So the moment I asked, why are you wasting your energy so much? He said that because I am taking it as a safety valve, right? He just ready to spend 3, 4, 5 year precious time of his career to put a safety valve. Why do you need this safety valve? If I am really interested into a career that is attracting me, right? I do not require a safety valve at all. And if I require a safety valve, if I'm going looking for the second alternative, it means I do not have confidence at my own idea. I do not have confidence at my own study, and I do not have confidence at my own strength also. So that is why it becomes to finding out the real career interest than the peripheral career interest. Just I asked two guy that, hey, what do you want to do in your life? One guy said that I want to be a singer. So he asked that, really you want to be a singer? Yeah, I want to be a singer. Then I said that, do you know, have you ever tried to find out that do you have the talent of being singer or not? He said that because I sing well, one or two, three people have said that I sing well, that's why I want to be the singer. He does not understand that is his hobby. He cannot be the singer, right? He has come for some other purpose. His strength is somewhere else, right? And the moment he starts at the initial stage, he gets fascinated, right? So, what is the most important thing that I want to caution to the every youth or every participants who are here? That by do not get fascinated by external factor that is influencing your mind or that is influencing your decision, right? I hope that you'd agree with this, right? Because look, there are people who want to crack the IT. There are people who want to get into the IMs. There are people who want to be the civil servant, right? So they do not understand what is the rate. If somebody want to be the civil servant, you ask that, do you know what is the success rate of the civil servant? Hardly it is 10 to 20% of the part, hardly 10% of the total participants, right? Even I am exaggerating by saying that 10%, right? So already you are getting into a field where the success rate is just 10%. So have you ever tried to understand that you are really prepared for that 10%? Because already there are people who are 90% people who are out of the race, and you are trying to get into those 10%. So have you ever analyzed your potential? Have you ever assessed to yourself that am I really made it for or not? Or it's a very for because somebody has said to me that if you become a civil servant, there would be a red light and whatever blah blah power. I get such attracted. I never think to just realize my own potential. I never think to assess my own potentialities, and just I get attracted. And 2 years down the line, I just come to know that, oh my God, the one or two, three failure just start irritating me, and I start realizing that perhaps this is not my cup of tea. That is why this is very important for everybody to find out the real career interest than the peripheral career interest. And the worst part, I am telling you, the worst part of the peripheral career interest is that what I have observed, that you lose your energy, you need to waste lots of your emotion, you need to waste lots of your money, and you waste the most important thing, the precious life, the time of your precious life. If you are not, you just waste doing the things which you do not like. So why should I waste my time that is precious to me, that cannot be reversed back in doing a thing which does not attract to me? And I do not reach anywhere, right? So that's why first it is need to understand what is the need to understand that what is the peripheral interest and what is the real career interest, right? So anybody who is participating into this seminar or conference, just I say that, say suppose I am a trader, right? I am a trader come academician, right? I create just lots of algo, I do lots of quant strategy and all. You are a startup, right? So there is a possibility that I must have struggled to find out something to concrete 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But that 5 years, does it really it bothered me? I couldn't. First year I failed, second year I failed, third year I failed, fourth year I failed, right? Do I have that much of patience, or do I have that much of a strength so that I keep doing, right? If you, for anything, if you keep doing, and you have that patience, you should go and you should just think that this is my real career interest than the peripheral career interest. Himanshu, would you like to add something on this?
Yes, sir. I think you made a very strong point. See, when even I have faced myself very honestly, So if anyone becomes so determined, very honestly, like at times I become determined that I have to get it done, right? And there can be two parts to it, very honestly. If you see, it can be a determination coming from your heart, saying that yes, this is really my interest area, that we call it as a real career interest in today's session. So that determination is a real determination, and that pushes you to actually achieve what you want to, right? So there can be one chance wherein, there is a student who really wants to crack, say IIT JE exam, and he's giving it, right? He's giving it till the time maybe fourth year also, he may pass it, at the end, so that's a real career interest. But there can be, a thing wherein he might be under a confusion, a kind of, aura that is being created in today's scenario, wherein, he might be under a social pressure again, wherein the parents might be telling him you have to crack, IIT JE, right? So that pressure also will lead to the same outcome, wherein he's trying for first year, second year, third year, and fourth year, right? So he's just, again trying out. But in that scenario, definitely he may not achieve the success even after fourth year, because he is not doing it in a real manner, because that's not his real interest. If it is a peripheral interest, he's not gonna achieve. That is what, I have seen, through my own experiences, and so there we need to understand. So today, our audience is struggling, to really find it out prior hand, because they need to be aware. The student, the undergrad, the post grad students, even the school going students, in today's scenario, I think now there are a lot of options, guidance options, they have access to good people around. But during our days, it was so difficult, because we just used to go to one institution, had a limited access, and nobody was there to guide us. But today, there are people around who can guide us. And if you really get to know this kind of a difference between the real one and the peripheral one, with the example that I've taken, then I think yes, definitely you can crack it somewhere, and you can really be successful. Because if you somehow get to know, no, your parents are pushing you, probably you are under a social pressure, your friends are doing IIT, that's why you want to do IIT. If you get to know 3 years, 4 years before, I think you are not wasting those 3 and 4 years, honestly. And you'll be really a successful guy, maybe in another field, if not, engineering. So
But
people are not
yeah,
understanding that. Yeah, please, sir.
yeah, Himanshu, I have a point, right? It's a very valid point and contemporary point you have raised, that nowadays, definitely we are full of resources, right? Full of information.
Yeah,
Simultaneously, there is a blame game going on, right? Which I strongly oppose. There are people, there are students who say that I'm doing this because of my parents, right? I did not want to do. I'm doing it because of my parent pressure. I'm doing it because of my peer pressure, whatever it is, right? But just think, actually, the parents are not literally pressurizing to anyone. You need to understand what is happening. How did the parents come to know that my son need to follow that particular career, right? My son, my daughter need to get into medical. My son or daughter need to get into engineering. My son or daughter need to get into chartered accountancy. My son or daughter need to get into the cost any MBA colleges. How does the parent come, and how does the parent come to know, right? Because those parents, they their what was their source of information? We need to understand, right? Their source of informations were their source of informations are their peer, and they got this from their parents, right? So what is lacking to
yeah,
find out the real career interests, right? It's the research that is lacking by the participants. It's the research that is being lacked by the parents, right? So now I think it is not the fault, and it is not the only onus of the parents, right? We should stop giving the blame to the parents. I'm telling you, because none of the parents want their child, none of the parents want their child to get into the trap of this, career complexities. Every parents want that my child should walk on the right path, and it should he or she must reach at a particular destination, and she or he must lead a just joyful life, right? Everybody wish for that, right? So but what is the problem with the parents? The parents, they have also not been given the access to the real information that they should have been given, right? Because of certain reason, they might not be having the time, they might not be having the information access, they are not so much technology savvy. That is why they are not getting that much of information, and they are not getting into the they are not getting the real picture, right? So what happens actually, now this is the responsibility at the participant, this is the responsibility at the student, this is the responsibility over the guy who want to lead the career, right? Nowadays. And in fact, even those days which you are talking, the only thing what I have understood between 2 days and that days, that sensitization. Nowadays,
Hmm.
at least people are talking about this all these topics. Those days, even we were not able to talk about all those topics, right? Had we ever thought of, right, that what is my real career interest? We
Yeah,
had never thought
absolutely
of, right? The
true.
situation was the same, right? But even it was the initiative that is not given by us, not taken by us, right? The initiative was not taken by us, right? So what happened? And we did not took the pain to do the research actually. And right now the same thing is also. It's just I'm quoting an example. Suppose a father says to his child that okay, you do one thing, I'm getting you admitted somewhere into the quota institution, and just you have to crack the IIT, right? So now it is the duty of the son or daughter that they should honestly do their research of their own potentialities. They should do, because they know themselves very well, right? They know that what they can do and what they cannot do. Everybody, I think everybody know. Sorry. So if they, everybody knows what they can do and what they cannot do. So if they come and they come with the research that my dear parents, my dear mother, my dear father, look, if you are sending me to the quota, you are going to spend lakhs of money of yours from your pocket. But my capability is not to participate with those niche guy who are into 5%, right? So if you are ready to waste your money on me, I'm ready to go, right? And I think if you come with this honesty, and I think no parent will say that, my dear son, you go and just you have to do the, you have to be into the quota or somewhere else, right? So it's the onus is at the shoulder of a students. Onus is at the shoulder of the guy itself, right? Not at the parents, right? So, and if the same guy say that, my dear father, my dear mother, I have found my strength that I can sing for 10 hours continuously. I can dance for 10 hours continuously. And what blah, 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 right? I have just interest into the computer and to do it from this and that way. And this will not cost you as much, which you are costing. It is costing to you sending in the quota or into any institutes, right? So I think every parent should agree, right? Nobody would like that my son. I think you are getting my point. What I want to say.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
sir. Absolutely. Sir, I think you made two strong points. I would like to probably reiterate on that because there are a lot of factors like you mentioned. Research is one. So there are a lot of factors which actually drills down to impacting your career actually, right? It's not just your parents. So yeah, definitely. I took a very old school example wherein parents are the ones who push you there, but when we say social
No, it's
pressure,
not the old
definitely,
example. It's not the old example. I'm telling you. Actually, the
yeah,
whole society is on. Just they are running to just to
yeah,
balance,
yeah,
just to blame the parents.
absolutely,
But
absolutely,
and this is the problem. In fact,
absolutely,
first I need to be. In fact, there is a term which I use that self. We need to develop a self audit system. Everybody need to develop a self audit system. How will one come to know that which is his real career interest, unless and unless and until, right, unless and
yeah, yeah.
until just you know about yourself, okay.
Absolutely. So what point I was making is so again when you talk of your career, there are so many people who actually become your influencer, right? So he can be your relatives, he can be your batchmates, he or she can be your even teachers also, right? So there are so many factors whether he belongs to a particular class of family who's intending to go to a particular section. So I think you made a very strong point saying that yes, definitely, this is we can't just have a blame game happening. So I truly agree as to what you said. I think you made a very strong point because there are so many things. Even when it comes to researching, there has to be a self-awareness coming in. Parent needs a lot of information, to assess the information coming, around them, and finally take a very sound call. Student with along with their parents, like what he or she really wants to get into. So I think I truly agree with that kind of a point. And I just add one point here to what you said. Like you mentioned, those were the days when, we probably didn't had much of the, information floating around us, and much of the, access to good people, mentors, guide. But today I think, we have that access. And I'll just take a very simple example here, like, we as a Grab Guidance,
Yeah.
we actually built this platform for the very same reason, very honestly, because, now on a click of a button, if I am able to help the student community to find any good mentor like you, probably, in just click of a button, and they can have interaction with you virtually, one to one, online, like what we are having it today. I think this was not there even years before. So this is where, we have, sort of grown as a economy, sort of grown as a education sector, and we have now, edtech sector running parallelly supporting the education sector. So I think, sir, I think those 2 points is somewhere, I really liked, and I wanted to add on to that. So please carry on now.
Thank you. Thank you, Himanshu. So, look, so now let's get back to the point that how to find out our real career interest, right? So first we need, so what I have experienced, right, through my career and through my journey, that first we need to understand the difference between the hobby, talent, and actually our profession, right? So actually what happens many a time, just our hobby, we get confused with the talent, right? So unless and until you understand what is the my hobby and what is my talent exactly, so unless and until you know that how to differentiate between your hobby and the real talent, you cannot get your real interest, right? For example, suppose sometimes that I also like to listen ghazals or sing ghazals, right? But actually I cannot get myself confused that tomorrow that I can be a good ghazal singer, right? It is like that. So there are people, suppose once or twice they go to play a cricket match and they win, right? And they get confused their hobby with the talent, and they think that now I can take cricket forward, right, as a career. So they need to understand that am I in a position to differentiate my hobby and my talent, and for that you will have to be true to yourself, right? So because you're ultimately, it is not like that your hobby can also be turned into a talent, right? But that talent, to turn your hobby into talent, you need to do a lot of practice and a lot of research, right? So if you have a capability to turn your hobby into talent, if you want to convert your hobby into talent, first there is a bridge, that there is a gap, that is of the practice. So the moment you start thinking about the practice between your hobbies and your talent, right, through the practice, you can land into the area, you can land into the arena of the real career interest, right? And the one most important thing, before taking your career interest, you should also be in a position to understand its economic value. Because many a times what I have understood, that people take momentary decision, they just take something as their career interest, but they do not understand how my career interest is going to give me and going to give me the economical benefit, right? Because ultimately, unless and until your interest gets incentivized in terms of money or in terms of economy, I think there are very few people, there are rarest of the rare people who can just pursue that career. I hope that you would agree, Himanshu.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically, there are people, right, who know that where I have to. So basically, it is like that, very simple, right? First, you need to understand, you need to realize your own potentiality, and just try to find out that is the potential which I am talking about. Do I have the real potential? It's a superficial potential. Suppose I want to be a swimmer. First, I need to test how many days I go and practice for swimming. If I can continue for next one, if I can continue for next 2 or 3 months, right, and practicing, it means I can get a kind of spark that definitely I can be a swimmer. But today I think that I can be a swimmer. Suppose I go to have a bath in a pond or in a river for 1 or 2 days, and just I swim like that, right? And I think that I can be a swimmer. That is not the real career interest, right? That is your peripheral
Absolutely.
career interest. So
Absolutely.
this is how you
Absolutely.
need to differentiate, right? Yeah, Himanshu, please, I think you can add
Yeah.
something on it.
So definitely, sir, again, I mean, this is an amazing point because I can relate it to my own life now. So, one needs to understand, the difference between the hobby and a talent. I think the one who really understands will be a successful guy, because I take an example of my own here. I used to play badminton, very honestly. I was a very good player, honestly. I have played
Yeah.
it to the national level also. But again, I was pretty sure that this is somewhere as a hobby, and to reach to a very high level of talent, wherein you can really make it as a career, was not there. So I figured it out pretty early, and that's why I'm not a badminton player in India right now. So I think I can relate your point, and I am just applying right now, and I'm just figuring it out. Yes, your point is so valuable, so important, because if at that point in time you have misunderstood your hobby to be a talent, and I think you will just keep pursuing, and you will not reach to the level wherein it is required you to make it as a profession. You will fall apart then, and you will probably end up wasting, say, 4 5 years, 10 years of your career. So I think, sir, amazing point again, and I just
Yeah,
thought to
I'm
add.
telling you, just there is a very simple equation that there is a matching of knowing doing gap, right? So we know a lot of things, right? So
Yeah,
there is a gap between knowing and doing, or doing and knowing, right? So the practice, just the word practice, it works as a bridge, right? So the moment we start bridging this gap, knowing doing, right, we can just very easily we can find out the real career interest, right? So I think you
absolutely.
have few questions, we can take it live, right?
Yeah, so we have a couple of questions. So let me just pick it up from the first one. So I'll present the question on the window as well, and I'll speak, read it out for you aloud as well for the
Yeah,
benefit
please.
of the audience. So, sir, this is a question for you, sir. How can we got to know what is our real career interest? How do we
Yeah,
get to know that what is our real career interest? Is the question coming from Ankita?
yeah. So it's a very pertinent question, I think. To know the real career interest, first of all, you need to understand, as I said earlier, right, that what is that one thing that trigger you to do to get up every early in the morning, right? Say, for example, suppose I don't know actually what does he want to do and what does he not want to do, right? But say, for example, I'm telling you, suppose I want to be a bodybuilder, right? Suppose I assume that I want to be a bodybuilder. If I, or just very make it very simple, suppose everybody want to be the healthy, right? So if I ask you a question that to be healthy, how many days in previous 30 or 60 days you have got up early in the morning at 6? That will give the answer of your question. If you are getting up early in the morning at 6 and doing some exercise, it means your intent is to be healthy and it is your interest. You are really interested. But it should be not like that, that today I got up in a just momentary motivation, early in the morning at 6, tomorrow I got up, but day after tomorrow I start losing the momentum. So anything which is just interesting you and you have the potential, but you are not losing the moment, you are not losing the momentum, right? That is your real career interest. But the moment you find that, at the moment, suppose you start losing the momentum of interest in next 3 4 5 6 7 days, right? It is very easy to find out the superficial career interest or the peripheral career interest. You begin and you start losing the momentum in next 3 4 5 days, right? But how do you know that this is my career interest? With the passage of time, gradually the momentum of interest gets up, right? But in peripheral career interest, gradually with the passage of time, the momentum of your interest it decreases, it comes down, it decelerates, right? So there is an acceleration of your interest and there is a deceleration of your interest, right? So ultimately, the moment your interest start accelerating, right, and it start turning into your passion, you understand it's your real career interest, right? And the moment your passion, you reach from one stage to another stage. Your interest, the moment this interest turn into your passion, automatically it will turn into your profession. And the moment it would turn into your profession, it would just automatically turn into your vocation, right? And the moment it turn into your vocation, you will reach to your mission, right? So this is the complete, the life cycle. That is your interest from passion to profession to vocation to mission, right? And the acceleration of interest that should keep on going up, going up, going up, right? But what happened into the peripheral career interest? with the passage of time, actually the momentum of interest, it starts decelerating. I think that I hope that I have answered the question, right, Himanshu?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now we can, I think, take the another one. I'll just present it also. So Mohit has asked, what if my interest is in two different field? So how would I decide which, that which path to opt for my future? Example, as I am confused between HR and marketing. So
Yeah.
this is his question,
So
sir.
yeah, I think it's a very common confusion among the management students, right?
Yeah,
And Himanshu, I think you are also quite familiar, right? So
absolutely, sir.
what I think that look, if you need look, what are the characteristics or what are the qualities that is required and most sought after into an HR guy, and what are the characteristics and qualities that is most required and sought after into a marketing guy, right? For example, I'm putting an example. Today I was just taking an interview, right? Today I was taking an interview from a very renowned, I do not want to take the name of institute, right? So just the I was she was a girl, and she had just finished her MBA into marketing, right? And but the moment I started asking few basics question, right? Because if you are a marketing guy, number one, you should have a top class soft skill. Number two, you are just well savvy in your research and everything, right? If you want to do marketing and all. Number three, you should be quite fair enough technological savvy, right? And there are many other requirements that is required to be a marketing guy. To be the quite HR guy, you need to deal with lots of law, you need to deal with lots of people, PR skill and all, right? So just you find out that all the skill that is required to get into the HR or get into the and to success into the marketing, right? And you just make a scale of it and just try to put yourself that a scale of 10 of all those parameters, where do you fit? And automatically you will get your own answer, right? You just listen to those top 10, just 2 to 3 top 5 guys who have been into the HR, and listen to top 2 to 3 marketeers who have been into marketing. They have just spent their life, right? And automatically you will come to know that am I really having that kind of quality? If you just answer yes, you'll get your answer.
Right, sir. Right, right, right. So I can see, sir, another kind of follow-up question coming from Divya. So I'll just
Yeah.
show it here. So she also has the same kind of a, query. Same with me. So she writes, same with me also, as mother of a child who is in ninth, and she's also confused between whether to go for banking or engineering. So she's
Yeah.
confused between these two domains.
Yeah. So first, where what is the root source of this confusion? How did she just came to know about the banking? How did she just come to know about the engineering? Right? Is this engineering information coming from, again, the same thing? Is this engineering information coming from the some old rooted source, or is it, or has it been searched by her, right? If this has been searched by her, she must have been understanding all the technicalities, all the nitty gritty of the engineering. And if this information about the banking, if she is confused about the banking, where this information is coming from, the banking, right? So she needs to do a lot of research, right? Understand the pros and cons of banking, understand the pros and cons of the engineering, because though these two are the two different domain, right? However, that happens that if people from engineering they get into the banking, and people from the bank finance background, they just somehow they get into the engineering, but they are not happy, right? So those who have done, there I know people, those who have done their BTech and all, again they come and they start serving into the banks, but ultimately they lose their momentum, they lose their interest, and at the end of just 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years of their job, they become frustrated and they start saying that I'm just fed up of this job and all, right? So just it needs to understand what is the why just only banking or engineering. Why are you not digging for some other career options? There are lots of career options like banking, engineering, accountancy, management, crafts, singing, dancing, lots of other career options. So just why only focused on banking and engineering? First, you just just do a lot of research, try to get some information, and then try to just make a decision, because it won't be possible for you to take a decision in 1 or 2 to 3 days research. It should take at least 10, 15, 20 day your own research, own just talk with the different people, just try to look at the few videos of who have been successful into the engineering, try to just look, try to understand about the life of the people who have been successful into banking and all. Like if one is interested into banking, just try to just have some information from the people like Chanda Kochar and all. Just read about them. You will get a lot of information. Where I can get into the banking, and just those who have been very much successful into the engineering. Just read about them, and just you can get a lot of, and then you can decide only whether to go into the banking or engineering. It is not there is no set a standard rule, right? It is not 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 math, right? So it will take some time. So take some time, talk with different people, and then you come on the conclusion.
Right, sir. I think you have guided in a very right way as to what our audience Divya can in specific can do to
Yeah,
solve out
because
her query.
yeah, so because I want to give a very simple equation, people need to give a kind of demarcation among talent versus hobbies versus interest, right? So once you give a demarcation among your talent versus hobbies versus your interest, you will really just come to know, your own heart will speak that what are you made for. Because unless actually you need to understand what do you love actually, what do you love. The moment you find out that what do you love, you will just come to know that what I can do, what I cannot do, right? And the second question you should ask to yourself, that what are you good at, with the thing, with the hobby, with the talent which you are uh, good at, that should be your love. If you love it but you cannot do it, I think it's going to create a lot of problem in ahead.
All right, sir. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, I think we are done with the question. So, just I'll like to sort of conclude, and then probably if you have any more points, I think I can
Yeah, so there are
you
lots
have
of
more points.
points
So
that we need.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So
you
look,
proceed then, sir.
so
Proceed, sir.
actually, look, people need to understand that there is a will and there is a skill, right? So people need to understand how to find out the will and how to convert this will into a skill. If I am in a position to convert my will into a skill, that would be my real career interest. So I want to give them few, just few lines that people need to understand that what is that driving force within me, right? Otherwise, what happens? The people just want people, they start just simple comparing another people's success with with themselves, and it just turns into frustration and all, right? So to get out all these things, first they need to understand what is their talent, what is their hobbies, and what is their real interest, right? And ultimately you should focus on talent and the practice, because if I am in a position to practice my talent, that will ultimately lead into the real career interest. Otherwise all the career interest will be peripheral, and what would happen, that it would just consume time. Today I am interested in doing something, if I face some trouble, my just interest changes. Tomorrow I'm interested into something, if I face some external in trouble, my interest gets changed, right? Why? Because actually I'm not mentally prepared to shoot out all those trouble that is coming to my way, right? So the moment you think that come what may, I will shoot out all the trouble, that would be your real career interest. Also, I
Right,
think
sir. Right.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Please. What were you saying?
So I think I am done. If there is any question
All
or
right.
anything,
All right.
yeah, I think you can
No,
add
no,
a lot
sir.
of your experience of yours also.
No, sir. So what I plan to do here is, sort of, take out the highlights of the session and sort of conclude it, because, I think it was a really nice session, honestly, for me as well. Because, I got to understand a couple of new terminologies and a good insight as to how we should look at it when it comes to a career. Because when we talk of career, it's the most important part for anyone's life, because everyone see himself or herself to be a successful guy, and to be that, I think it takes a lot of awareness. It takes a lot of hardship to find the right information, and then how take a right decision of your life, and be successful in your career. So I
Yeah,
think,
actually, you
I
can call it, sorry.
yeah,
Actually, you can call it there. Actually, finding out real career interest is just like an enlightened entrepreneurship, right?
absolutely,
Exactly, I'm telling
absolutely,
you. Finding out
yeah,
real career interest is just like enlightened entrepreneurship, right? Where
right,
just you need to understand your energy, you need to understand your body, you need to understand your potentiality, your own potentialities, right? And then you need to understand your mind also, right? So you're basically
right,
physical, it's a complete combination of your physical body, your mind, your emotion, and the energy, right? So the moment you start understanding the synchronization among all these four, right, you will automatically start finding your real career interest, right? So
right,
this is the
right,
key. So basically, to conclude it, I will give you one term for this real, to find out the real career interest. That real career interest is nothing, rather it's an enlightened entrepreneurship. You can call it, it's an enlightened entrepreneurship.
right, right, right.
Yeah,
And honestly, just to specify, today we call it as a dilemma, but you mentioned it as a multi-lemma was somewhere a highlight for
yeah,
us, because
exactly, it is.
today's scenario is so complicated. We are bundled with so much of information. You say it as, and today we have so much of things happening around, and we are actually, it's not a dilemma, it's a multi-lemma. So that was a kind of a highlight for me for sure. And I think with answering those questions, and you really highlighted how your hobby should be translated into a talent, and and all, accelerated interest, and then reaching to a mission. So the life cycle was somewhere, that you mentioned upon, was sort of highlight for us. And I think, like we always say, obviously we are in the world where is too much of information. So for a student, for parents of the student, it is pretty important to be self aware, and take a very sound decision basis the right information coming in their way, and to take a sound decision, I mean, definitely, talking to others, relying on the good research, talking to the stakeholders, which can help you in taking that decision, is very much needed. And I think we are sort of lucky in today's world that we have those people who can be there to guide, and we have so many portals like us to guide through. And I think today people will have good access to such online portals, and people like you who can be good mentors and guide, and really give them that enlightenment which is needed, sir. True.
Yeah. Thank you,
So,
Himanshu. So nice of
all
you.
right, sir. So the last thing which I intend to do is to thank you, sir, because I think without you, our audience wouldn't have got, the real insight as to what is the difference between the peripheral career interest and the real career interest, and how we really have to find out that real career interest. It's so important, because by definition, people might got to know that what is okay real career interest. We know that, but how to really find that real career interest is somewhere you pointed out in the whole session. And I think that's going to be the real takeaway for everyone. So thank you so much, sir, for guiding us, guiding our audience. And from the Grab Guidance side, we really want to thank you, and look forward to many such future sessions with you.
Sure, sure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank,
All right,
thank
sir,
you,
thank you
Himanshu.
so much.
Thank you,
Take
thank you,
care. Bye bye. All right,
thank you,
thank you.
Himanshu.